Hey, 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 secondhand soul fans! Hey, 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 secondhand soul fans. It's me, your friendly neighborhood soul man, Loud Dynamite Miller. And I'm here with...
Kathy Fern.
And Dave Drower, the sax man. How's it going
What's
out there?
up, what's up?
That's
How we
right.
doing, everybody? Here we are. We've arrived at episode 22. 22 of the Secondhand Soul Band Show. God bless America, baby.
That's right.
We got a nice lineup for you today. And today we're going to be talking a little bit of venue news. We're going to be talking about the Chicago Bears and the great week they had.
You're funny.
Then we're going to talk just a little bit about the election. We got our famous over-underrated segment. And we're going to pay homage to some musicians that served our country bravely. And we're going to meet a friend of the Secondhand Soul Band. So why don't we get started right now?
Let's go.
Let's do it.
Well, not really any venue news except for they're all shut down as usual. Coronavirus cases are on the rise. Dave, you want to put up that chart? Illinois is in the red. Woohoo! Those numbers are going way up, guys. So wear your masks, please. The sooner we can get this crap taken care of, the sooner we can see each other and dance together. And hopefully, with the...
We have like 10,000 cases a day, Kathy. This is not going well.
No, it's going the wrong way.
I don't remember a time where we hit 10,000 cases, and yeah, everything's like 20%.
I do remember having this conversation like in episode 4, and saying everybody put their mask on, and then apparently not enough of us did because we're still having the same conversation.
Why didn't they listen?
20 weeks later.
Well,
I don't know. It's
yeah, we couldn't.
I mean, if they weren't going to listen to Fauci, they ain't going to listen to me.
You don't have more pull than Fauci.
No, not yet. Definitely not in the medical field.
Hopefully, things are gonna get back to normal for a little bit here, and we got some people in charge that will, the parents are home. The parents came home, so all the shenanigans has to stop. That's all I'll say about that. Yep. So let's move on.
All right. Bear down, Chicago Bears.
Stop.
No.
Just stop. Just
not
stop.
Today,
I don't even need to hear it from you. My
gosh. Where are we here? We're looking at the last 3 games.
We're exactly where the Bears have been for years and years and years and years. And honestly, I don't know what it is, but quarterbacks come here to die. Quarterbacks come here just to not be able to perform. Like, somehow Foles
beats
us in the playoff because we don't have a kicker. Like, I still remember that. And then he comes to Chicago and sucks. Cutler comes to Chicago and sucks. Trubisky sucks.
Foles.
So I'm telling you, I wish we just had Tom Brady just to see is Chicago really that horrible?
Yeah. Let's just try them out.
Can we kill Tom Brady's skills here in Chicago? Because if Chicago can do that with Tom Brady, then we're screwed.
Then that's it.
We're screwed. It's radon. It must be radon under Soldier Field.
I mean, I don't know what are they paying of quarterbacks? It's not enough. It's not enough. I actually thought that Jay Cutler was out there because Foles has been upended so many times. I thought he was wearing a 6 instead of a 9.
Yeah, but watching Foles try to run, it was sad. It was sad. And
what if it was life?
I'm just. We have to get an offensive line, and I'm very sort of mad that we didn't get somebody before the trade deadline because that would have been a smart choice. put some money into an offensive line, but no, of course. So, hey, we're gonna get a new GM at the end of this season, and maybe
I hope so.
whole new everything, because that GM, he's out of here in my opinion. But
Defense was good.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you can't score any points, you're not gonna win games.
Yeah.
Pathetic.
Well,
You know what's funny to me though? Like I only started paying attention to the Bears when they won back in '85 when they won the Super Bowl. I was right out of high school and I'm like, yay, the Bears won. And so ever since then, I'm like, why aren't the Bears winning? Because they won, but I guess that really it doesn't happen as often as we would like.
Well,
It's been all
that
those
year-
years and
even
they
that
haven't
year
done
was-
it since.
even that year was a defense. Their
They just
offense was
don't-
awful.
Right. You can never count on them to score points. It's always it's depressing. It's depressing.
But-
And now our record is finally becoming more
Yeah,
like
closer.
the way we
How
play.
it's supposed to be, right?
Back to
And that's what I
normal,
was
yeah.
saying. You can only like squeak by on so many games, and then I'm
Catches
sorry.
up with
I'm
you.
sorry. So
Yeah.
all right.
85 Bears is never going to happen again. Those
Well,
guys,
that's
that
baloney. But we need to figure out this
Never
quarterback
again.
thing. Like Tom Brady, just like he
pay a visit.
wait, when he came to Chicago, was it here or was it in Tampa Bay? I feel like it was in Chicago. And he
We beat him?
sucked. Yes,
we
we
beat him. Yeah, that must have been here.
Oh, there's something to your
See,
theory,
so-
Dave.
So it's
so
just-
sad.
yeah.
It's so sad.
In general,
like I
just-
don't know
yeah.
how do you break that curse? It's just so.
Yeah.
How do you
I don't know
break
who
that
out there could
curse?
do it.
Oh,
Then you
man.
had good quarterbacks come and go. You had guys on the draft that you just let go. They're the top guys out there now. How many of those? There wasn't it like 3 or 4 quarterbacks that year that the guy from Kansas City, they grabbed him. They let all these guys go. And we ended up with Trubisky, who was a good quarterback until he got here.
No, he
Was.
wasn't. No, he wasn't.
He wasn't as good as those guys, but he wasn't as bad as we're saying now.
Oh man.
All right. This is pathetic. Let's move on.
Yeah, let's move on.
All right, we got.
All right, enough of that. So yeah, we are happy campers here with the results of the election after the last. I love that picture. That guy is getting down. Yeah, so excitingly, Biden said that his first order of business is get this pandemic under control. That's all I want to hear because he's actually assembling 24 health and technology experts, scientists to take a look at the development and delivery of a vaccine,
Yeah. We'll see.
collect health data, secure supply chains, among other issues. So, of course, he doesn't take office until 70 days, they were saying the other day. So it's a
Yeah.
little bit less than 70 days. So who knows what kind of shenanigans we'll see over the next 70 days, but we're getting there, guys. We're getting there.
We
We're
got 10,000 cases a day. Like I'm
Yeah.
not.
I'm not joyous, but I'll just take a little bit of excitement out of this moment, and then we still got a lot of work to do.
I feel
For
like
example, they're having a Georgia runoff too. So if we want to have a
that's
president
gonna
who
be
can actually
important.
do his
That'll be
job,
important. Yes, Georgia came out to
Yeah.
vote. Hopefully they come out
go
again.
Georgia. You guys did it
But-
once, do it again. Bring them home.
important.
So
Yeah.
that's January 5th is the next due date that we got to watch. So got to send some good prayers to Georgia.
And some money. Some money
And some
down there.
money, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Like,
Well,
let's look at where
all
we
the
can donate
states
some
need
money.
money. Okay, Illinois, I'm sorry to say, didn't pass the tax the rich people bill, which
Nope.
again, and then I even had some people that I know that like they got so caught up in the lies that were on
Yep.
Facebook and were on the
Propaganda
other ones.
works
They were like,
very
I didn't
well.
like
Yep.
this, and I was like, you know what you get if you want to spend $500 million on an ad campaign where every single one
$500 million.
I
Million
know,
dollars.
but
So imagine what they're trying to
Easy.
avoid paying.
Couldn't
right.
they have given the $500 million to all of the musicians that aren't working? I mean,
yeah.
look at how much
That's
that money
actually what
would
the
have
law would-
gone.
That was
Yeah.
that was
That's
the
what
one
the law is asking for.
I
yeah.
was very sad about that, and it was just because
Wow.
and I actually read it when I went in to vote. Like it said it right there. It was very specific.
Yeah.
And it was
Yeah.
just taxing the rich people. And then again, the other commercials, it's like I don't believe they won't come after us anyway. It's like they're gonna go after everybody.
They gotta go after you
what
now.
What are you talking about? Somehow, right?
Not
Again,
the way it works. And we're in a
Again.
shortfall. We got to pay for all this stuff. Guess who's paying for it? The guy
Yeah.
at the grocery store.
Right.
The guy, the bus driver, you know,
Mhm.
the nurse who's been busting her ass all year trying to save you guys.
Teachers.
She's got to pay for it.
right?
And
the
all those rich people who
teachers,
pay for the
yeah.
commercials are paying shit. They're not going to pay anything.
Right, because they'll go hide all their money somewhere.
Come on, you people. Come on, what are you guys doing?
What can you do?
We got to stop listening to propaganda and listen to your heart.
Yeah.
Ask yourself what is really going to benefit me or just my better man, because sometimes your fellow man, because sometimes benefiting your fellow man benefits you.
It would
Let's
be
think
nice.
about this.
We need some
We-
restrictions on Facebook. We need some restrictions on what can be on TV.
Yeah.
Free speech should not mean
can't
you could
do-
just
right, exactly.
outright
Doesn't mean you can
lie.
lie.
Like,
But that's the thing.
we
That's
don't
the
even
lobbying.
need political advertisements at all. Honestly,
That's the lobbying.
because-
It's the whole gray area of yelling fire in the
no,
theater
it's
is
the whole
not free speech.
business of politicians, and that's the
Right.
saddest thing.
That's
Because
right.
if
It's
it's a
lobbying.
business,
Why do you
then-
think Zuckerberg's
Then
always in front
you
of
wonder
Congress?
why Illinois
Yeah.
is corrupt. And hey, I hope Donald Trump does an Illinois, like governor thing, like goes to jail for a decade, or so, just like every other Illinois one, like Blagojevich.
He can
Yeah,
cozy up with
it'd
all
be-
of them over there.
It'd be so fantastic.
Uh,
So, all right. Anyway.
let's get on to some fun stuff.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, over underrated. That should be fun. This is our favorite segment on the program, over underrated. That's when we look at an artist, we examine that artist's career, and we decide if they're overrated, underrated, or getting just the right amount of praise. Who do we got this week?
I don't even need to say his name, man.
Man.
Boo-doo-doo-doo.
Uh-oh.
Boo-doo.
Uh-oh. 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 Uh-oh.
Can't touch it.
That's
That
right.
dance, that's called the Chinese typewriter.
And
Oh.
A little racist.
And-
I don't know
and
what the I don't know
what-
what the connotation's about. It's a little
what
racist,
are-
but yes,
what
that's the name.
what
That's what he decided on.
What are the pants like called? It's like
Those-
poofy on the top and like.
Those pants are called.
harem pants. I think
I
they're
just
called
heard they were-
harem pants.
yeah, like hammer pants. I thought they were like
Now they're
yeah,
hammer pants, but I
Right,
think
right,
they were
right, but they
harem
were.
pants.
Hammer
hammer
time.
pants. Yeah. I don't know. Guys who can't wear briefs wear those. Wear those pants. They call them sweatpants now.
Yeah.
I used to
Well,
dress like that in high school. You know, it
Like,
started
you
with the
better show
glasses.
me
I
the
had those.
pictures.
I wish I had.
I
I
need
had the
to see some.
Crozell glasses. And so then I just started buying genie pants. That's what they're called.
That's what they're
Genie
called.
pants.
Genie
Yes.
pants.
Yeah, I started
yes.
buying the genie pants to go along with it, and they started calling me Hammer. I couldn't dance worth a damn back then, but I could
I
dress like
don't
them.
believe that.
You
But
should see me doing that.
it's just-
that
it's just
I'm
like
gonna
a-
call it Asian typewriter.
It's
Okay.
just
See
me
like,
doing the
it's
Asian
just like
typewriter.
a shake. You don't even know what kind of real moves he was doing with those gigantic pants. It was like it was just a gyration. It wasn't even like Elvis style. It was just like
Oh no!
body
Okay,
flipping,
no, wait a
twerking.
minute. No, okay, no. MC Hammer was a terrific dancer. He was a fantastic dancer, and he had a whole he was a choreographer.
Well, and remember, he's the guy that did it first. That's a big deal. Like everybody
Dance?
knows
He was
that
the
dance
first
now.
one to do the dance before. All right, this guy.
mean-
come on. He's completely overrated. Like, give me a
What?
break.
Okay.
He went bankrupt. Okay, let's hear your arguments. Go ahead.
All right.
You go first, Dave. You always make Lyle go
Yeah,
first.
yeah. Go first this time.
Dude, this guy, like, literally, he went bankrupt. He was like, he had like a handful of semi hits. I'm not even gonna call them hits. Like, come on, can't touch this.
Mm-mm.
Again, was not even his. It was just they were all gimmick stuff, and then his whole life was a gimmick thing. He has a gold toilet. Like, give me a break. Give me a break. He's like Kanye West, like exactly the same thing. And I don't respect Kanye and MC Hammer. No. But
So is
but
that
his
it?
dance
That's it. The
was
gold
hilarious.
John and the just
And
a
the
couple
pants?
hits.
But
and the pants, right?
He didn't do anything for music.
Okay.
Oh no.
So here's something. MC Hammer was the very first hip hop artist in history to go diamond, be certified diamond, which means 18 million copies of his record. He's the highest selling hip hop artist in history. That album, in history. Please Hammer
Even
Don't Hurt.
now?
Even now.
Wow.
His first album sold 2 million copies. Then Please Hammer Don't Hurt Him sold 18 million copies. in the 90s.
Yeah.
That's the hip hop artist. That's big. And I would say between 1989 and 1992, he was probably the biggest star
Yep.
in the world.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
in terms of
you
hip hop,
pick-
in terms
pick-
of hip hop.
you pick great years because the music business was just coming.
Yeah,
out of
it's the
stars
windows.
right
It's
around
very-
then.
it's-
It was just all over the place. Yeah.
I say he's just about right. I mean, he still has
and
100.
I don't know what kind of accreditation he actually gets. I feel like he gets the overrated thing a lot. I wouldn't be the only one that I feel like feels like he's completely overrated. He's on
he's
cartoons on the
iconic.
regular. Yeah,
I mean, he was-
iconic. Exactly. That's why he's very overrated.
No, iconic
But he
is
was
not being
huge.
overrated. He was
18 million
huge.
records. 18 million records in the 90s
In the
was a lot. Like
90s,
Michael Jackson would sell like 10
exactly.
million records.
Who
And everybody
cares?
knows who he
The
is. I mean, he,
90s.
even now they still know who he is.
And he's
Apparently
not
his-
even a rapper. He's not even really a rapper, but he sold 18 million rap records. I mean,
Yeah, that's
something
surprising
to
to
that.
me too. I
It
would
was
still
the
say-
show. It was
Yeah.
because MC Hammer. And there's something to be learned from this. If you only knew MC Hammer from the recordings, you wouldn't think much of him. But the shows were magnificent.
Yeah.
There would be 30 people dancing like choreographed on stage, like Jailhouse Rock, all those
Yeah.
people. This was every show for him. This
Good
is part of the
example.
reason why he has no money now. But he used to have these elaborate shows. There was this dance choreography. I mean, there'd be like a band. In the 90s, you have to understand, rap shows
Weren't
with a
you
guy
just-
on
you
turntable
were
and two
bitching
guys with
about James
microphones.
Brown the other day, like, oh, it's not about the dancing, it's about the singing. It's terrible. And now MC Hammer is like, oh no, the dancing. Oh, he sold all these records. Yeah,
MC
come on,
Hammer ain't
man,
never been
come
big
on,
as James
give me a
Brown,
break.
even though he was compared to him in
He's
terms of
not
his
even on the
dancing,
same
but he's never
stature.
been that
That's
big.
why I'm like always saying, like, we have Stevie Wonder. I think you even said that he was underrated.
But Stevie Wonder's getting way more praise than
Overrated.
MC Hammer. Way more. Come on, he's got
Of
his career's 10 times
course.
longer.
Like, what did he do for music? Exactly.
I'm grading on
A
the curve here.
career. Not.
Well, he
not
brought
like
out a few
Stidham
artists. I
in
mean, they didn't last
college.
long, but he brought them out.
All right.
And
All right.
everybody, like you were saying earlier, they sampled the heck out of. They still play "Can't Touch This," even
Oh,
though
yeah.
he sampled it. They still play "Can't Touch This." The song came out like 30 years ago.
Exactly.
Yeah, he borrowed it, but then
exactly.
he made it something new. So there's musical talent right there.
Yeah.
Sure. Yes.
Hey, that's every rapper out there.
Well, are you feeling a little age discrimination here? Whenever we talk about someone a little older, Dave is not aware. He didn't live through it. He's just like, yeah, they're just old guys. They don't
Well,
mean
no,
nothing.
Yeah,
it's just
that's
the
expected.
90s,
That's what we're
the
here for.
90s was a very pathetic time in music. It's just
No, it wasn't. Take that back
The
right
90s,
now.
the 90s were not as good as the 80s, but they were not pathetic.
And then
No,
the
they
80s
were
weren't as
not.
good as the 70s. Like things got worse. All
Hey,
right.
They
no.
continue to.
We-
They continue to get worse. but
I know. That's why it's very sad.
Every decade has its bright spots. Come on.
there's nobody.
yes.
There's nobody like
yes,
MC Hammer today.
Yes, in the middle
Uh,
of
in-
the
in terms of
90s,
hip-hop.
there's nothing that will make you feel better than some MC Hammer.
Right, come on, right?
Yeah.
I agree.
We got to give him props just
Right.
for that. And apparently, Can't Touch This has experienced a resurgence in popularity just because of COVID.
You see,
People are doing
You got-
videos to it now.
Of
he
course.
can't even stay irrelevant. That's the mark
Oh,
of
there you go.
a true champion there.
Yes.
But I'm still
Yes.
gonna say he's got enough. That's enough of MC Hammer there.
I agree. And yes, I agree. Let's move on. He's gotten too much time just by you guys trying to convince me of something that's never been the case. All right, we got to thank some.
Veterans.
That's
Yes.
right.
Yes.
Thank you, veterans. Yeah, Veterans Day is this Wednesday. Say thank you to your favorite veteran. This is why we have the opportunity to vote. This is why we have a free country. This is why we have chaos, because we all get an opinion and it's all just as valid. So wanted to take a minute to talk about some musicians who've been in the armed forces, and there's plenty of them, but we just got a few here. We got Elvis Presley, of course, is like the first one everybody would think of. And, he made that popular back in the day. And, photos of the young, handsome Elvis in his army uniform. The airport was mobbed with screaming fans when he arrived for basic training. He was in the army in the spring of '58 and served until '60, stayed in until his discharge in '64. Most well-known entertainer in the armed forces. And then when he came back, They say that because he made the films that on the popularity of being in the armed forces, that it actually helped him earn the adoration of a more adult audience. Like they respected him a little bit more because he wasn't just the Elvis the pelvis anymore. But he's also not the only famous musician to serve his country. We have Ice-T, whose name was Tracy Lauren Morrow. And he was in the Army, and he was stationed in Hawaii. He was switching from dealing drugs to support himself. He knew he needed to turn his life around when he had a daughter. So he stayed in the Army for 4 years, and he was in Hawaii, served as a squad leader. And that was where he purchased his musical equipment and began to work to hone his skills and save money and prepare to launch a career in music. And he went on, of course, as we know, to be a actor, a musician, a rapper, a songwriter, and general all-around famous person. So, Lyle, you were saying something about Ice-T a little while ago.
Hone his skills. Hone his skills.
That's what it says.
That's very generous. Hone his skills. Ice-T has no formal training in anything, probably except the military. The man, he always talks about how everything that came along. Now, I will say he is tremendous at adapting to things, because anything that came along that was a form of making money, he would adapt to it and do it. From selling drugs to getting in the military to being a rapper, which he said he couldn't rap, but he saw that it was profitable, to being in a rock band. He had a rock band for a little while. Then he started making movies, and now he's a television star. He's been on TV for 10 years on the same show.
The place.
This Ice-T. His name is Ice-T. You understand? That is hard work. But I digress.
Yeah.
But yes.
Isn't he another 90s artist there, Lyle?
Well, that's where it, technically he started in the 80s. Technically he started in the 80s.
Okay.
But, you know, that's a skill right
and he
there.
Sampled Curtis Mayfield, Pusha Man. Anyway, yeah.
Well,
that's
Curtis
a skill right
Mayfield,
there,
man.
just to, you know, and be able to adapt and you know, learn on the fly. I mean, that gets, you know,
Well,
act as if until you know,
he's a
take it until you make it.
It's a businessman. It's different.
Yeah.
And he's smart for that. Like, he's not the only one to branch out. LL Cool J is definitely very savvy.
Oh yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's definitely when you're a musician, you got to.
But at least LL Cool J is a rapper. Okay.
That's true. It's true. That's right.
All right, moving on.
This is about thinking the veterans.
Yeah. Jimi Hendrix is another one. I didn't know this one. He was in the.
We got a dream team: Elvis, Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah, I know, right?
Wow.
He was a paratrooper in the Army in 1961, and he actually won the Screaming Eagles Award. That was like wild to hear this. And then he wasn't well suited to military service, and he was given an honorable discharge. And he says it was because he broke his ankle in a parachute jump, and he was actually discharged due to unsuitability for service.
Thank God, because if he would have broke on them fingers, what are you jumping out of a plane? With those, when you could play like that, oh my God! You see what happens?
Big dummy.
God, thank you for the bravery. But Jesus, if something would happen to your hand, do you understand what would have happened to music?
Another famous guitarist, Johnny Cash. He was the man in black. He was first man in uniform. First a man in uniform, his singer-songwriter, and he served in the Air Force. He went in at 18, right after high school, and did basic training in Texas. And then he was on the assigned to Germany for the Air Force Security Service as a Morse code operator, intercepting Soviet transmissions. How cool is that?
Now,
so he was like mysterious.
That is awesome. That sounds like Johnny Cash.
Yeah, that's
that
badass.
like, you know, it just doesn't it though?
It fits totally.
I bet he had a black uniform. You know.
Badass.
Man.
And then
can you imagine that voice too?
Oh man, come on.
My sax man was in the military too.
Yeah, so he's coming up. Let's see. First of all, getting back to Johnny Cash, he took the money he earned in the military to buy his first guitar, and he formed his first band, the Landsberg Barbarians.
Awesome.
Love that name.
Like he just.
And then he took advantage of the GI Bill to attend a radio announcing course. That makes sense too with that voice before he launched his country music career. So that was cool. And Dave, you're talking about John Coltrane. He was in the Army in 45. And let's see, to avoid being drafted, he decided to enlist in the to avoid being drafted by the Army, he enlisted in the Navy on the day the first atomic bomb was dropped on Japan, and he trained as an apprentice seaman and was sent to Pearl Harbor. So while he was there, his musical talents came to light, and he joined the Melody Masters, which was the bass swing band. And by the end of his service, he'd assumed a leadership role in the band. And it was during this time that he made his first recording with other Navy musicians, playing alto sax on jazz standards and bebop tunes. So that actually gave him his career. That's pretty cool.
That's fascinating.
Went on to be the John Coltrane that we all know. That's pretty awesome.
That's got to be the most successful career a black man had in the 40s in the military that I've ever heard.
Well, jazz came about because of military instruments.
Yeah, all those guys getting together from different places. Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
I did not know that.
So the military is very much in the creation of the American music.
Wow. Well, I mean, if you
Absolutely.
think about, like back in the 1800s and the marching bands and the wars and everything, that was always part of it. So
That
that's
never
very
made any sense to me.
interesting.
I listen. I gotta say this real quick. I've always seen the cartoons. Maybe it was a cartoon,
Right.
and there's
The
the
drums.
guys. Who the hell? They're shooting over there. You got a flute in your hand. Why would you take a flute? Hey man, I can play the flute. No, I wouldn't even say it. I'd be like, I only know how to shoot the musket.
Yeah.
Is all I know. So please give me one of those.
We're going to have to check in with a history teacher and see if that actually
Yeah, if it
happened. That's
happened.
pretty interesting.
I mean, I imagine it's like, brr, oh shit, then the guy just runs off.
But your poor drum's got holes in it, and
Right. Just keep playing, man. Just be
shoot
brave.
the flute right out of your hand.
Right. I'm like, I never understood
I
that.
don't
I've always
understand
seen
that
the
either.
band playing. I'm like, that's not, I don't see, get a boombox. I know they didn't have it back then.
Oh my God, that's
I
funny.
mean, maybe one guy with some maracas is in the back. I don't know.
I want to be the guy with the big cymbals because I could be like,
Yeah,
"Oh,
yeah. You can bounce, yeah, maybe you can bounce some pellets off.
maybe that's where they were created.
Man.
Well, speaking of military careers, we also had mentioned MC Hammer. He also was in the armed forces. He joined the Navy, and we were laughing because it says his position, he was an aviation storekeeper, 3rd class at a naval air station. We were trying to say
Aviation, yeah.
what exactly was that kind of a job? Like, here's a bolt.
Right,
touch
yeah. Yeah, all right. Hey, man, can you hand me that screwdriver? Can't touch this. Oh, I'll get it for you. Here you go. I mean, I imagine it's something like
Oh
that.
my God.
And you know how I've heard all these positions in the military, and guys always dress it up, to make it sound tougher. What do you do with that? There's
I don't
nothing else to
know.
do with that.
You
You're
know,
the guy
I
who works in the
hope
store.
it's more of a position than it sounds like.
There's nothing. If it was, I'm sure he would have put something on top of that. I was in charge of distribution of supplies and aviation. Something.
Well, the Army takes a lot of people. The Armed Forces, anyway, takes a lot of people to run. So somebody's got to do that job, I
Absolutely.
guess, right?
No, everybody in there is
I
important.
suppose they're all important. Yep. Getting on to the next one is Tony Bennett. So this I found quite interesting. For a guy that's won 19 Grammy Awards, 2 Emmys, he sold more than 50 million records worldwide. But before he was Tony Bennett, he was Anthony Benedetto, and he was drafted into the United States Army in 1944 during the final stages of World War II. He was a replacement infantryman, and he served across France and into Germany. And in March 45, he actually joined the front line. During active combat, he narrowly escaped death several times, and he participated in the liberation of a Nazi concentration camp, where American prisoners of war from the 63rd Division were also freed. So during his service, he sang with an Army military band under the stage name Joe Barry and played with many musicians who went on to have post-war music careers. Once discharged, he studied at the American Theater Wing on the GI Bill. So that's a real hero right there. I mean, that's what you think when you're joining the Army.
Yeah.
So
That's fascinating. That's almost the opposite of the Hendrix story. I
Exactly.
feel like, what are you doing with this singing crap? You're a warrior.
Right.
Like Tony
And
Bennett should
he's
have been a
so
career
like
military.
low, gentle sounding and
Doesn't
kind and
even the way he
polite.
acts. Yeah. How is act so nice? This guy could rip your head off.
I suppose that's what they say. You got to watch out for the quiet ones.
Man, that's amazing. Smooth, romantic.
I
This
got, I
guy.
got new respect for that guy. Wow.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Even at this age, what is? I think he's 90 years old. He probably still would crush me.
Right. I bet if you shook his hand, it'd be like a really
Like,
firm
oh
grip.
Jesus.
Oh,
Yep.
don't hurt me, Tony. So finally, we got George Strait, and not to not talk about country music singers. He's the king of country, and considered by many to be one of the most popular and influential country music artists of all time. In 71, he eloped with his high school sweetheart, Norma, and then joined the Army. And he was listed in the Army from 71 to 75 and was also stationed in Hawaii. While he was there, he launched what would become a lifelong career singing with the Army-sponsored band called Rambling Country. And his commitment to the men and women of the armed forces, along with a lot of these other people, we didn't mention Willie Nelson, but he was someone who was in the armed forces for a short time. They took that to, everything they've done going forward. They made sure that they, did benefits for veterans and always lended their name to whenever they could to help veterans causes. So, George Strait served as a spokesman for the Wrangler National Patriot Program. It raises awareness and funds for American wounded and fallen military veterans and their families. So, these guys, they became true blue and decided to make sure that they could help veterans out any way they could. So that's a good thing. So thanks to all of our veterans. We really appreciate everything you've done for our country. Thank you for your service.
Yeah.
Thank you for giving us the life that we lead in America today.
Thanks. And special thanks to the VA post. I'm not sure the post, Kathy, but I want to send a
Post
special shout out for
1205. There's a couple different posts. Post 1205 in Wooddale is one. And the other one is the VFW Hall in Niles. They've been wonderful to us, so want to give them all a special shout out. So thank you so much to you guys. Yeah. So moving on, we are going to meet a friend of the Secondhand Soul Band. Today we are going to be talking. Hey Kim, how you doing?
I'm good, Kathy. How are you?
I'm great, everybody. This is Kim LeFew, a good friend of mine, a singer that I've worked with and has worked with the band in the past. Kim, we just want to check in with you and see how you're doing with all the craziness going on.
Yeah. Well, I'm doing good so far. Of course, I'm unemployed, like most people, but I've had some really, really good interviews and it seems like all of a sudden things are kind of coming back. There was really a bad lull, obviously, in the middle of all of it. But I had an interview actually this morning that went fairly well.
Excellent. Good luck with that. Let us know how it turns out. So you have a band. It's called In Session. And you guys have been together how long?
Gosh, 10 years.
Okay.
10 at this point, yeah. A couple little tweaks here and there. Some band members leave, come back, but the core, the name, I've been part of this band. Actually, it was a little longer than that. I've been part of it for 10 years.
Okay.
Prior to that, I think they were in session maybe about 2 or 3 years before that. Not really sure, but yeah.
Yeah.
But
and you guys are gigging right now?
We are. With the weather, it was really nice. We were able to do a lot of outside stuff.
Yeah.
So, it was nice out and a lot of tense things going on. And then, Gary and I had that dual thing too. And we did a gig in a really nice tent in Glenview, Johnny's Kitchen and Tap. By the way, food's good if anybody ever wants to go there.
That's called Blonde Date, right?
Yeah, Blonde Date.
Love that name.
Doing, kind of like steakhouses. The music is a little different, a little more back. And then we turn it up depending, because some places, you play in the bar, some places you're playing in the restaurant, and that might lend itself for something different.
Yeah.
But yeah, we don't do that as often, but it's there. We've done a couple weddings, like cocktail hour things, but
nice. And so how long have you been singing?
Well, I would say far back as I can remember, I think when I was about 10, I think I discovered I might have had a voice when I was about 10. And I was one of those, just singing around the house, and I always use the vacuum cleaner would be my microphone usually. I was always cleaning for some reason, but yeah. And then, like a lot of kids, I was in chorus and did that in school, not in high school, kind of like got away from it a little bit. And then the 80s came in karaoke. That's when I really started like, wow, this is so cool. I wasn't in a band, but it was a great outlet. And I was just like a karaoke, nut. I like did it whenever I could. Of course, I was finally of drinking age, so I can go in the bars and do that. And I think karaoke is kind of when I really kind of started realizing like, hey, I'm pretty good at this. I think I can do this. And then of course, church. I always sang in church. I sang in the choirs, and I still do today. So
yeah, you sing every Sunday. Basically, you work with the praise band, and
I do.
It's live streamed on the church websites. I've gotten to see it a couple times. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's very, very, very contemporary. Now, it's not really for everyone. I mean, it's a very modern church, high ceilings, the acoustics. We have drums banging and guitar solos, and so music is highly contemporary. But right now, I lead every Sunday, really just because of lack of singers. It's not. I love it, and I'm privileged, and I love doing it every Sunday. But where churches are trying to grow, and it's hard to find people to rotate with, but
sure,
hey, I love it.
It's a commitment too, but that's really great of you to do that.
Yeah nights we're gigging until I get home 1, 2 in the morning, and then
you gotta go to church.
I'm telling you, God gives me the voice every Sunday. I swear when I leave church, I'm hoarse. I'm like, see, I sang.
So what is your favorite music to sing? What do you like to listen to mostly?
I probably if somebody said, okay, Kim, get up and sing whatever you want, I would probably bore people to death because I love ballads. I love the Carpenters. I love Stevie Nicks. I tend to kind of gravitate towards like slower songs for some reason. But I really do like to sing everything. Probably 70s. I'd say artists for sure. Linda Ronstadt, Stevie Nicks, Karen Carpenter, Carole King. Those are probably, you grew up with that. So and they were all, Carole King for sure, and Stevie Nicks definitely, and Karen Carpenter. They're all, altos. So of course I was attracted to that. Linda Ronstadt, I could do a lot of her stuff, but
she's got an amazing voice.
Gosh, I can sing.
But so do you though, and ballads are hard to sing. I always have trouble with ballads. It's
they are.
You got to have some confidence, and you really nail it. I mean, everything you sing, you sound fantastic. But I really like the ballads that you do.
They're hard because you have to. I mean, I've never had any kind of training or anything, which I probably should because I probably do even better. But it seems like you need a lot more control to sing like softer, and it's hard. And sing. It's hard to even really sing like quiet, I have a hard time singing quietly and really controlling that. So
Absolutely.
I kudos people who can do that. That's for sure.
Well, and then you feel kind of naked out there because you can't really hide behind the music. It's, it's just your voice is right out there and everybody can hear every single note.
Oh yeah. And I don't really have a big range, like some people can really get the low notes and the really high notes. I'm definitely really an alto, and it's harder for me to hit some of the high notes. There's a lot of songs. Thank God my band will go ahead and be willing to, just bring it down a step or have to stop for me just to make it sound, a little bit better. But,
well, you also harmonize very, very well because we've performed together, and man, you just nail it. And there's people that they hear it. I always have to work so hard to get it and keep it. You just know exactly where to go. So I'm always jealous of that.
I do. I love it. I think it was all those years also of listening. My other favorite is the Judds. I mean, talk about harmony. The two of them, and even at church at times, like I can hear a song for the first time, never hear it before, and it takes a couple tries, and I'll get it. I don't know if it's the way they do it, but I can pick out a harmony. And really, I secretly always kind of wanted to be a backup singer, as much as I like to sing. Kind of like the whole idea of standing back there and doo-wops and adding harmony. I have no problem doing that. I don't have to get
wonderful. Well, it was great to check in with you, and I hope you, have some success in your job search. Everybody, Kim is a very dedicated employee, so if you're looking for somebody, reach out to me, and I'll put you in touch with her.
You got it. Hey, Melvin says hi too, right?
Oh, hi, Melvin. I love your dog videos too.
Come on, say goodbye. Everybody knows Melvin.
Hi, Melvin. Anything
Thank
you want to
God.
add, or maybe anything Melvin wants to add?
Melvin, tell them Secondhand Soul Band, Motown Funk and Soul. It's his
Thanks.
favorite band, by the way.
See you soon.
All right, take care, Kathy.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was fun.
We had a good time with Kim.
Her dog is awesome. She's got the best. She's got 2 of them.
I was
And
gonna
the
say I saw
videos-
another one around back there.
Yeah, the videos she posts, they're hilarious. Her dog is have the best personality, but she's an amazing person. And I just talked to her recently, and so because the job thing wasn't working out, she's decided to start her own business. So she's going to do a kind of estate sale, clutter removal, staging, home decor, help you move, help you pack, help you unpack kind of business. So I know she's putting a business plan together. So I'm sure I'll post a link to it on Facebook once it's all put together. So good for her. Good luck, Kim.
Yeah, it's awesome. I almost forgot to mention what I feel sank MC Hammer. It was the Addams Family song. I don't know if anybody remembers this. You just saw MC Hammer, then you didn't see him. But what happened in between that time was the Addams Family song. Look up the Addams Family. I think it was Addams Family Values. He did the theme song. It's
For the
terrible.
movie?
Yes,
Okay.
it's called the Addams Family, and it's really, really bad. It exposed him. Like I said, he's not really a rapper. He's just a great entertainer. He put on some good shows, but that song is the
That
worst.
did him in.
I think it crashed the movie. Look the song up.
I'm
Addams
gonna look
Family
it up.
Values. I don't know who did it, but
I'll definitely post a link on Facebook. Check it out,
Yeah.
you guys.
look that one up.
Well, you guys, we got another show in the can. 22.
All
That's
right,
right.
that's 22.
Good
That's
job.
right.
It was fun.
No
As
end in
always.
sight. Oh boy. That's okay.
We're getting there. Slow and steady. We're getting there. We're getting there.
Yep, pretty soon
Everybody
you'll be
stay
seeing us in
safe.
person.
Yes.
Ah.
Stay safe and wear those masks.
Later.
Bye.
Secondhand Soul fans.